Well, thank you, Chairman Capito and Ranking Member Whitehouse, for holding this important hearing today. And thank you to our witnesses for coming and sharing your perspective on what we can do to better secure our water systems against the cybersecurity challenges that we face in our world. In Nebraska, our water and wastewater utilities manage and protect our state's groundwater. They provide critical services to Nebraskans. And we've talked about how it impacts the states that you're from. The security is increasingly at risk from foreign adversaries seeking to undermine critical infrastructure and threaten public safety through cyber attacks on our water systems. Communist China has actively been involved in targeting wastewater systems, critical infrastructure in every community across the U.S. And in 2024, the EPA OIG found that nearly 100 drinking water systems serving 26.6 million people had critical or high-risk cybersecurity vulnerabilities. This includes open internet portals, default passwords, unpatched systems. These vulnerabilities leave utilities exposed to cyber criminals and foreign adversaries. It's important that rural water systems have the tools, resources, and technical support necessary to defend against these cyber and foreign threats. Yet many small and rural communities face significant barriers in accessing these tools and resources. Just yesterday, I met with the Nebraska Rural Water Association, who shared some of these challenges, such as the staffing shortages we've discussed and reduced technical capacity. To protect our water systems, our food supply, and ultimately our national security, we must ensure rural communities are equipped to build and maintain resilient water infrastructure. In West Point, Nebraska, they are doing just that. They have upgraded their system to a cloud-based management platform. These platforms allow water utilities to monitor and manage infrastructure from any location and house data in a secure location. Mr. Oderman, what do you think the relative advantages of moving water operations to more advanced automated programs like the cloud versus what they have historically been in?
There's definitive advantages to that model. Scalability. There is long-term cost savings. Typically, you're not having to house as much technology equipment in-house. You get baked in security practices. They're not going to let you do certain things on the cloud platform without following certain guidelines and standards. And then to speak to the weather thing, it's geolocation diversity with where your data is stored, so you have some disaster recovery advantages as well. The one negative would be it takes a different technical setup and configuration to manage cloud services, so that's a little less limited than the traditional server client setup. And then also you're dependent on an internet connection, so if you are somewhere without an internet connection, you're stuck.
Yeah,
but there's definitely a model that would work there.
one of the other things we've heard is that with modern systems, you have to upgrade them more often. Is that what your experience is in North Dakota as well?
Yeah, updates are all consuming in my life right now. That's what keeps me up at night, Chairman. Yeah, it's a challenge, and again, that's where these smaller systems just don't have the capacity to manage all those IT and OT assets, and giving them technical assistance to align with a trusted vendor that meets standards would be an avenue for them.
Great, thank you. Dr. Simonton, I was mentioning some of the cyber attacks, some of the things that can leave us open and vulnerable. What documentation do we have on attempted attacks against water infrastructure? And what do we know about the sources of or the actors behind these attacks?
I don't know that I can really speak to that, Senator, because so much of what happens, I mean, as you probably well know, the United States suffers a mind-boggling number of attacks every day. And so how many of those are directed specifically at the water sector, I couldn't answer that.
So would it be helpful then if we were trying to do more documentation specifically on the our water systems and wastewater systems to be able to know how much is that being targeted versus, say, hospitals, which have typically been very high profile when they get attacked and they've got a ransomware attack, because everybody at the hospital can't get treatment, right?
Absolutely, and what we are seeing across the board in infrastructure and what we're doing at Marshall University is not just focused on water cybersecurity, which is what we're talking about today, and really where we started to build the framework, but we're already working in healthcare, finance, transportation, specifically aviation, because all of these areas of infrastructure are coming under more and more attack, and with automation, of course, more and more vulnerabilities.
And I will note that there are members of the Nebraska Rural Water Association in the audience today, so thank you very much for your help. And with that, Chairman, I'll turn it back over to you.